Hello, people. Hope you're well. Welcome to a UFC 307 recap live, as well as the first episode of Monday Matchmaker, where I'll be playing the role of Dana White, Hunter Campbell, and Sean Shelby to make some fights off the back of UFC 307. Hope you're well. Please do smash that like button on the road to 3,000 subs. I think on around 2,800 at the moment. So if I can get to that by the end of the month, I'll be over the moon. And then be on the road to 4,000 subs. Then please, people, help me get there. So first and foremost, hope you're all well. Shout out to Luke Tanner. Go subscribe to his channel, link in the description. And shout out to Jamie Phillips. Go subscribe to his channel, link in the description, who joined me for the UFC 307 watch along on the Saturday for most people, Sunday early hours for those in the UK. And I thought the event was good. Good. Kayla Harrison, Caitlin Vieira. I thought there'd be more fireworks in that fight, but nonetheless, Caitlin Vieira put up a good fight, but Kayla Harrison rightly got the decision win. Then you had Delize versus Holland. Unfortunately, Holland got a rib injury and had to end the fight in between rounds 1 and 2 on the stool. I know Conor McGregor said quite a few things about that. I think a bit harsh. Someone's rib is broken or dislodged, whichever the one. It would have been impossible for him to continue the fight. If he continued the fight, Delize would have targeted that, and it would have just gone from bad to worse for me. So I think the corner did the right thing. Kevin Holland was never going to pull out the fight. He's a warrior. He's tough as nails. But I think the corner did right by their fighter and did the right thing. Then you had Bautista versus Aldo. Again, I thought it was a good fight until maybe the last 2-3 minutes of the last round, where it looked like Bautista was just trying to sort of time waste. Thought the wrong person got the decision there, just my opinion. Then the co-main event, which was actually a good fight. I didn't think there'd be a stoppage, and I was right in that. When I first watched the fight, I thought Pena would get the result. However, seeing some of the feedback online, a lot of people thought Pennington actually won. So good fight from both women. I don't think it's a robbery either way. If Pennington got the nod, I wouldn't have sat here and thought it was a robbery or the wrong decision. I just went with Juliana. I thought her rounds were a bit more clear when she won. And I think from a business standpoint, from a UFC standpoint, I think they'd have preferred Juliana to win as well. She's more of a talker, and she'll sell a fight more, as she's got history with other fighters in the division. And then the main event. I've been saying for about a year I wanted to see Khalil Roundtree versus Alex Pereira. I just didn't think it would happen this soon because Roundtree was lower in the rankings. I thought when Roundtree got the fight against Jamal Hill, I thought, yeah, Roundtree will win this fight, and then he'll be the guaranteed #1 contender. Then that fight fell through because of the banned substances that were ingested by Khalil Roundtree. And then you're thinking, oh, we're not going to see the fight now. We're not going to see the fight. I was bummed when that happened. Pause. And then he did get the fight, and I was like, yes, finally. And look, hold my hands up. I was one of the few who thought that Khalil Roundtree Jr. was going to get the victory. I thought he was going to win the fight, and he was going to pull off a shock result. And I thought he'd actually KO Pereira. And then I saw Pereira standing across from Khalil Roundtree, and I thought, I may have got this wrong. When you talk about aura, and you talk about fighters with aura, he is top of that list. John Jones has aura, rightly so. Aspinall's got aura, rightly so. But Alex Pereira's got a different type of aura. I mean, that guy, he's just like, he's a machine. He's like Thanos. He literally is like Thanos. Apparently, Mark Goddard was saying that his punches are like nothing he's ever heard before. He said the guy has ungodly power. Mark Goddard has been officiating and refereeing and been around the sport of MMA, if I'm not mistaken, for about 20 years, maybe more than that. For him to say he's never heard someone hit like Alex Pereira is scary. It is very scary. And he's had 3 fights this year, finished all 3 opponents, and made it look, well, the first 2 made look easy. This one, he had to put in some work. He took some big shots from Khalil Roundtree. Khalil Roundtree was on it from early. Alex tried to impose himself and did impose himself, but he's a beast. Like, I've been saying this. Khalil's got a style that will trouble Alex, and he was showing it. He won the first 2 rounds. And now when I say that, everyone's going to be like, yeah, but look at the end result. Yeah, he won the first 2 rounds. Still close rounds, but he still won those rounds. Like, I think anyone watching the fight will know he won those rounds. But you never watched those rounds and thought, the finish is coming soon for Khalil. When Alex started turning it on, it's almost like he downloaded all Khalil's information, picked up on his reads, and then started implementing his game plan to counter those reads and counter those attacks that Khalil was producing, and just took it to another level. The guy is truly special. He's this year's MVP. And look, I know Max and Ilya, depending on how their result goes, could have a claim to being male fight of the year. But unless one of those 2 do something so dramatically special, I think it's got to be Pereira. It's got to be. I know we're in October. Look, as I said, if Ilya goes out there and knocks out Max, Ilya would have knocked out Volk and Max in the same year, which is crazy at featherweight. Crazy. If Max goes out there and beats Ilya, and let's say he stops Ilya, he'd have won the championship, and he would have done that off the back of KOing Justin Gaethje winning the BMF. In fact, you know what? Just speaking about it now, if Max does it, Max might be in with a claim for that as well. And if Ilya does it, he might be as well. But look, that's all to come, innit? As of right now, it's unanimous. He's the man. Alex Pereira is the guy in the UFC. He's the face of the organization right now. Conor McGregor's the most popular, not fighting. John Jones, considered the GOAT by many, not active at the moment. Alex Pereira is not only active, not only producing exciting fights, not only producing knockouts and TKOs, but he's doing it in quick succession, in quick turnarounds. He's saving cards, going out there taking on the toughest people in his division. The guy is truly a special. And look, if we got to thank Izzy. If Izzy didn't start talking to Alex Pereira's ego, we wouldn't have Alex Pereira. So we got to thank Izzy, man. Shout out to Izzy. And shout out to Alex Pereira. 2 glory kickboxers who've come over. Sorry, 2 kickboxers who've come over in a sport that has predominantly been dominated by wrestlers and grapplers in the past, and just showed that they can take on the best of the best and come out on top. And Alex Pereira is going from strength to strength to strength. It's scary work. It's scary work. So now time for Matchmaker Monday. I'm going to look at the results from UFC 307 and try and match up some of these fighters in potential fights. So I'm going to start with Alex Pereira. And look, there's no secret here. He's been having a war of words and back and forth with Ankalaev, but Ankalaev's still got work to do. So for me, Alex Pereira fights the winner of Ankalaev and Rakic. Now, I know Jamal Hill is still in the background. And Jamal Hill was yawning at the event when the fight was stopped, etc. And I get Jamal's trying to sell the fight. And look, again, I'm a big Jamal fan. I know a lot of people don't really rate and like Jamal Hill like that. I do. I rate him. I listen to his content. And I'm a fan. I just wish he would go and fight someone else rather than... And look, he did try and fight Khalil Roundtree. That wasn't his fault. I just wish... I really do wish that he wouldn't continue to do what he's doing, because for me, it just feels a bit forced. Like, Jamal's a good guy from all accounts of people who have been around him and spoken to him. I don't know if this heel persona suits him. I think everyone respects Jamal because of the work he did, especially when he won the belt from Glover. He was brilliant in that fight. His story is excellent. How he was in the cage, just showing that raw emotion after he won the belt. For me, he comes across as someone who can't accept that he lost to Pereira fair and square. And I don't think that's good for a fighter when they can't just accept that someone was the better man on that night. And him doing the yawning and stuff, I know it. Look, it's got me talking about it. It's got other content creators talking about it. I know Ariel Helwani spoke about it. So look, maybe he's doing maybe he is doing a good job. I just don't think it's necessary for him to do it. I think he goes out there and gets a dominant win over someone, I think he's right back in the conversation. So I don't think Hill gets the next shot. I do think it's the winner of Ankalaev and Rakic, and I look forward to that fight as well. For Juliana Pena, it's simple. It's Kayla Harrison next. I know she did the no-sell, which was pretty smart of Juliana, if I'm going to be honest. It was pretty smart. Look, everyone's going to speak about the Kayla Harrison fight already. Why not pivot and speak about Amanda Nunes and have two people to contend with and more people write about you from two different perspectives? Smart from Juliana, and it's probably one of the reasons why the company love her as well, and Dana loves her. But Kayla Harrison is the rightful next challenger. Like, has to be Kayla. Has to be. And that will do good numbers. Look, that could even main event. I think those two women could sell the fight well enough that could actually main event a pay-per-view. So, again, look forward to seeing whether that can happen. And look, the winner of Kayla Harrison and Juliana Pena, we know who they're going to be calling out. And we know she'll probably come back. And that is the person many consider the GOAT of women's MMA, and that is Amanda the Lioness Nunes. So be very interested to see what happens there. Jose Aldo didn't get the decision, even though I think he should have. I put him in there with Henry Cejudo. These two are meant to fight. If I'm not mistaken, they were meant to fight at the beginning when the pandemic happened. Aldo ended up fighting Peter Yan, and then Henry Cejudo. No, I think Aldo pulled out of the fight or couldn't make it to Fight Island or the Apex, one of the two. So Dominic Cruz stepped in and fought Henry Cejudo, and we never got to see that fight. I think Aldo versus Cejudo makes a lot of sense at this point. Both coming off losses. I don't think Aldo took any damage. And look, Aldo's been fighting these young up-and-coming killers. Aldo's a legend of the sport. Let's let him fight someone else who's a legend of the sport, and that's Cejudo. I think that fight sells well. On a pay-per-view, that does great. If that's number 3 or number 2 on a fight on a main event card, we're all laughing and going, what a good fight. Well done, UFC. So I hope that fight gets made. In terms of Bautista, I don't think he covered himself in glory. Look, this was a fight. This was almost a coming out party for him. This was a layup in the sense of you go and put a good performance. Even if you lose, everyone still goes, yeah, that Bautista's serious. He went up against Jose Aldo. And look, he got the decision win. I just don't think he showed the best version of himself. I think he fought within himself, which is probably frustrating for him, but also frustrating as fans as well, because we know he can do a lot more. And for me, he just went into survival mode, which I don't think he needed to do. I'd put him up against Rob Font. I think that would be a very good fight. Rob Font's got excellent boxing. Mario's got really good boxing, good grappling as well. Font is very good at defending takedowns, etc. I'd like to see that fight. For the Leadze, who got the win over Kevin Holland, I'd try and throw him in there with Martin Vettori. The Leadze, if I'm not mistaken, let me just double check the rankings. The Leadze is ranked number 10 at the moment. Vettori is ranked number 6. And Vettori hasn't fought anyone that hasn't been scheduled for a fight. If I'm the Leadze, I'm calling for that fight. If you go and beat Vettori, that moves you to number 6 in the division. You leapfrog Paulo Costa, Brendan Allen, and Jared Cannonier. Then you can start knocking on the door of the top 5 fighters. So if I'm the Leadze, I'm calling for that fight. I'm seeing if I can get the Martin Vettori fight. For Caitlin Vieira, Macy Chiasson, I think that's the fight to make. Caitlin will move down in the rankings, but she'll only move down 1 spot to number 3. She's currently number 2 until the rankings get updated. Kayla will yeah, Kayla will move up to number 2, Pena will move up to champion, and Raquel Pennington will move to number 1 in the rankings. Look, you could even go, do you know what? In fact, I do actually. I changed that. I go Caitlin Vieira versus Pennington. And the reason I do that, if Caitlin Vieira wins, then she can say, right, I get next shot potentially. If Raquel Pennington wins, then there's the rematch there, potentially with Juliana Pena, whether Pena's champion or not, because the fight was so close. So yeah, I'm going to go Vieira and Pennington for that one, actually. For Lucinda, who won on the card in the prelims, I'm seeing if she can fight Tabitha Ricci. And that'd be a good fight. Baby Shark always is game when she fights. I think Lucinda looked really, really good when she fought. Really good. Her striking was good. Spinning back kicks as well. Grappling was good. So I'd go her versus Ricci. And finally, my final one that I'm going to speak about is Joaquin Buckley. Joaquin Buckley managed to stop Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, the first KO/TKO since Anthony Pettis stopped him all those years ago. Now, he has been submitted to South Cat since then. And look, I know people are calling for Wonderboy to retire. He's lost to Buckley, who everyone knows on his day is a world-class specimen of a fighter. He's lost to Shavkat, who's considered by many the number 1 contender and the heir to the throne at welterweight. And he lost to Bilal Muhammad, who is the current welterweight champion. I don't think Wonderboy should retire. But what I would like to see Wonderboy in is fun fights. Because even in that fight, for me, he was winning that fight up until he got caught. So for me, if I'm the UFC, I would try and book Wonderboy. I would do it. I would try and put. They're not gonna fight though. Who can Wonderboy fight? I don't actually know. I don't know. I don't think he goes up in weight. Wonderboy makes the weight really easily. Let me have a think about that. I'll speak about Buckley for now though. I know he called out Kamaru Usman. Very smart call out, very good call out. Very good, smart call out. However, I don't think he'll get that fight because I don't think Usman will do that fight. However, I do like the sound of Buckley versus Brady. Brady's off the back of a win. Buckley's off the back of a win. And look, when the rankings are released, Buckley, in theory, should leapfrog Jeff Neal and Wonderboy and go into at least 9th spot. Sean Brady is ranked number 6 at the moment. Sean Brady versus Buckley, for me, would be a great fight. Oh, Boo Rider. You may have just cracked the code. Nick Diaz for Wonderboy. I like that a lot. I do like that a lot. Yeah. I like that. I'll tell you another person. Maybe it's a bit too low in the maybe too low in the ranking. I would have said Brian Battle could have been a good one, but he's quite low down in the ranking. Even Randy Brown, actually. I know he's got a fight scheduled, actually. So no. Do you know what? F it. I'm going Nick Diaz. Yeah, legends. 2 legends going up against each other. Not in the prime anymore. Nick still has hands. Good timing. You'd literally have one of the most gangster fighters of all time against possibly the nicest fighter of all time. It'd be interesting to see how Nick approaches that as well, because we know Nick likes to talk in Octagon. I like that. Shout out to Boo Rider. I can't even take credit. Shout out to Boo Rider for that. But that's what I would do. I would do Wonderboy versus Nick Diaz, and I'll do Buckley versus Brady. All in all, guys, I'd probably give the UFC 307 a ranking of, I'll go 7.5 out of 10. I think the co-main and the main event went a long way to saving the main card. I thought the first 3 fights lacked a little bit, but the co-main event was excellent, and the main event, in my opinion, might be fight of the year. I know Gaethje and Holloway is considered fight of the year, but I think Roundtree and Pereira was more competitive than Gaethje and Holloway. So for me, I'm going to go 7.5. I thought it was a good card. So let me know your thoughts, people. Let me know what you'd rank that card, UFC 307 out of 10. Let me know if you agree with my my matchmaking skills and who you would pit in matches if you don't agree as well. And yeah, finally, please smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. We'll probably be going live tomorrow morning and then have combat catch up in the evening, probably with Jamie and Luke. So make sure, please, people, you tune in, smash that notification bell. And yeah, it's been a pleasure as always. UFC 307 is in the books. Alex Pereira still reigns supreme over the light heavyweights. And we have a new queen and only the second two-time bantamweight women's champion, Juliana Pena. Can she beat Kayla Harris in the next fight? Can she get one back over Amanda Nunes? Time will tell. People, thanks so much. Before I go, thank you. This has been the Sanderson Show. Take it easy.